Last night we went out to dinner at kind of a fancy place and split a burger. That was pretty fun. And then we ended up at Starbucks, like that was our big date, splitting a large, what was it?
Peppermint mocha.
Cammie wanted her own cup, so they put them in her own cups with extra whipped cream. It was pretty good. We talked there, went to the ice cream shop, brought the ice cream home. Then someone got a pretty fancy massage in bed. Well, fancy for me. Had to pull out the lavender oil. Then we ate ice cream in bed and watched season 3 of Narcos. We started that. Pretty good date night. Low production cost. Cammie's haircut. It's actually really working for me.
It was kind of entertaining and kind of annoying last night for me because Ben kept wanting to like touch my hair and touch me and touch my hair, and he was just like super fascinated with me all of a sudden.
It was like there was a new girl in my bed, and I never knew I liked variety, but it was like.
And don't get me wrong, like I would rather be overly touched than not touched at all, but at a certain point I was like, okay, I've reached my touch limit. He likes to make these jokes where he's like, who are you? Oh, you're cute, I'll take you. Or, hey bro. I had to beat him off with a stick basically last night.
And that's only because.
Stop it.
I guess it's tied 3-3 now.
I saw a picture of you.
Dang it.
Did she send one? Carrie sent one to you?
I think it looks great.
Aw, thank you.
It's really smooth.
She you feel me. I actually think it looks really great.
Oh, that's because
I was concerned.
Yeah.
Spiky kind of weird, like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. You look really good. I think it looks better actually than the long hair.
Dude, the weather is so nice today. Filia's picking the last of the raspberries. You want one of these? Okay, here we go. It's like actually warmer outside our house than inside. It's gonna be like, it's 60 right now. I think it's gonna be like 68 today, so we just started opening the doors. One of the crazy things about not using heat or AC much is that when the temperature changes outside, it actually makes a huge difference in your life, as opposed to it just being like 72 year round. You don't really care what it is outside. Now it's like, there's a lot of pressure today because Cammie and I could smoke cigars and drink out on the porch, but yet we're supposed to go running too, and it could be a super awesome day for a run. We're trying on shoes for the Appalachian Trail that just came in the mail.
Are these doves, Mama?
But the problem is, like, they kind of fit, but what is most important is will they fit in
Like 3 months.
when we leave. But the kids keep on growing, especially some of them. I'm not going to mention any names. But we're trying to buy them like when they're on sale right now.
Yeah.
This is where return policies are really nice. Oh, so warm out here. So nice. We are off to the kids' weekly goals meeting pertaining to vlog, editing, posting, social media stuff. The kids are making their checklists for this next week. This last week, one of Seven's goals was to work on the editing and incorporating drone footage into each of our videos, and I thought he nailed it. Do you guys remember those sequences from the vlog this week? That was a direct result, I think, of these goal meetings. That's the only reason why you did it, right?
Yeah.
You were like doing it for
For candy.
Just to be a good son. One of Dove's goals was to work on the thumbnails and the titles. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the thumbnails have been killing it this week. It's really hard to do this because it feels really cheesy, like making these thumbnails. It's like kind of salesy and markety, and Dove hates it and I hate it. But it's like the only reason a lot of people click on our videos is if you have an interesting thumbnail. So you gotta kind of like play this game a little bit. So we try and do it, huh, Dove?
Today we have just been going from one thing to the next without really any breathers. It's all good stuff. Right now we're heading to our counseling session. We just finished our counseling. We're running kind of behind, so we're discussing, should we just go straight home? And Ben wanted to go straight home, and I realized that I still want to get a cupcake. Maybe I should be weaning myself off of cupcakes. But then I was like, it's okay for me to want a cupcake. Maybe that's part of my therapy. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not sinful. And we have to go home and run too. And I'm like, I just want a cupcake right before I run, just to kind of like get the edge off a little bit, because running can be hard. So we're gonna get a cupcake.
I don't think we're going to talk about our counseling session right now, but it was actually super important, so I can't wait to talk about it. Do you guys mind if we do it right after the run? Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job.
I was here all along.
That was a little 4-mile run, and look what was sitting on our firewood stack when we got back. Straight from Heather Q in Colorado Springs. This is kind of exciting.
I think there might be something sweet and edible in here.
I feel like the kids should be out here. Let's just do it without them.
Good.
Whoa, oh, we should have them here. Oh, this is, I feel terrible. It says Crawford.
Cookies, yummy, yummy.
The world promises you comfort, but you were not made for comfort. You were made for greatness. By Pope Benedict the 16th? Anyway, here's some cookies. Ha, Heather Q. I said ha.
All right, hey, this is our first package that we've
There's
gotten.
another note.
That was from when we asked for people to send us stuff of their
I
things.
know.
Goody.
Tea,
Pomegranate oolong.
Oolong.
dark chocolate cookies.
Hey Crawfords, I've sent you a medal of Saint Christopher, patron saint of travelers and long journeys. Our friends in heaven are always praying for us. The cigars are from Daniel for Cammie.
What the?
Awesome. 7. Oh, I wanted to get into Rubik's Cube. Oh my gosh, before. I thought the Rubik's Cube might be good for some editing magic or just to impress your friends. Rainier, by accepting this dinosaur, you hereby agree not to doodle on the walls with the markers I sent or put craft beads up your nose. Memory and Filia, my girls loved this craft project and thought you might like it too.
Okay.
I hope you see some of these critters on the trail. Don't make a mess or your parents will be mad at me. Devin Eden, I never get tired of seeing your art on Instagram, so I hope you enjoy the art supplies. Love, Heather Q. Whoa.
Dang, that's cool. There's paper.
Whoa. Aww.
Oh, this is for you. It's a postcard. Thank you, Heather
Thank
Q.
you, Heather
This
Q.
is wonderful.
And Daniel.
Thank you, Heather Q.
Our friend Matt just showed up. Hey, Leia! Dude, what's going on, man?
How you doing, man?
Good to see
Sorry
you.
to like drop in virtually unannounced.
That was cool. Our friend Matt, that watches the vlog actually, dropped this off because he said, hey, remember when you guys posted that message telling us to send something that means something to us? He screen printed this phrase, he came up with it. Thank you, Matt. Look what we got for you. Rawr.
Thought it was roaring. Oh.
Cammie said she's gonna share with me. Man, that was really cool. Okay. Put your little vlog seatbelts on because this next section could get a little long-winded, but we're a little disorganized in how we might tell it. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. But it's actually really near and dear to my heart, and I think some of you will really appreciate it. We want to debrief our counseling appointment a little with you. We covered a lot of stuff, I thought, like all over the board. The thing that stands out to me the most was the point where our therapist kind of put to words something that I'd been feeling but didn't know it. And what he said was, you guys are changing tribes. And he said, you guys used to be very dualistic.
And how you thought what you believed in.
And now you are becoming more open. That was like, oh, whoa. We grew up in a very specific culture. And it's confusing because it was a Christian evangelical culture. And the culture was very defining. Now I think we're rejecting it. We're moving on for a number of reasons.
Outgrowing it, I think, might be even a better way to...
Yeah, because I was actually fine with it for a long time, and I had my beefs with it, but it was all I knew, like the music, the way to talk, the certain types of movies, the places we went during the summer. It was all kind of like spelled out for you. And when we were a part of this culture, we knew kind of like how to belong, and we knew who belonged, and we knew who didn't belong.
How to behave, and what to say, and what to not say.
And after a certain amount of time, gradually, it started to not fit. It was like the glove was like bursting at the seams and a finger popped out. We're like, whoa, let's shove that back in there. But we couldn't fake it anymore. It wasn't like I ever wanted to leave it. But now we've like exited it. It's like exit stage right. We're gone. And we don't have a new tribe to replace it with.
It's hard to leave a tribe because those are like all your friends, or were your friends. Those were all your relationships. And it feels like we're starting from the ground up, and we don't really have a lot of friends or people we feel like we can relate to.
And it feels like we don't care about those people or, that stuff anymore. But actually, in a way, we care about those people and the things that matter the most to us more than ever. I think a lot of people hearing this might think, oh, you guys are walking away from God or Christianity. Well, I guess it depends on your definition of Christianity, and that's something I have a hard time labeling because I've noticed people do have different definitions. Some people mean, are you a Christian? They mean, did you say certain words when you were 5, and do you go to church every Sunday?
Do you follow a certain code?
And we're like not very good at that code. But I actually feel more excited about Jesus, truth, grace, love, justice than ever, but it doesn't look the exact same as what it once looked to me. It's a little bit complicated, but this dualism idea, I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. It was like black or white. And another group of people are going to hear this and be like, oh, you're saying everything's relative? Like you don't believe in absolutes anymore? No. That's not the case at all. I think the best way I can explain it right now, this is all really fresh, but is like when you're a kid, you ask a question about a movie, is that a good guy or a bad guy? And it's like that simple. And people are into two categories. They're either good guys or they're bad guys.
And that's very dualistic. It's like you're either one or the other, and you force people into these one of two boxes.
For a child, that's helpful because it makes you feel safe and like things are stable, and I know what's going on.
It's not wrong, you know, It's just simple. But as you get older, you learn, oh, that good guy has some bad parts about him, and that bad guy has some good parts about him. And actually, we do believe in absolute right or wrong, but I don't believe that man is the judge of that. And outside of the things that God says are absolutely right or wrong, we have to be really careful. And I used to be really sure about where I stood on all sorts of things. You know, from playing cards to dancing to, you know, what words are good and bad and all these things. And now I find myself being like, porn. I feel like there's long hair. There's some good and bad things about those words. But a lot of the people we used to hang out with are pretty sure. They're like still being like, oh no, you're wrong if you use those words. Okay, I want to transition. That was just like how our counseling appointment went. It was really cool for me to get some phrases to wrap my mind around even the feelings of what I'm going through and why we're experiencing loss. This is actually a good
Or
cigar.
even that there's like a name for what we're going through. It was cool to name it.
But I want to address this comment that we got from Lisa E., who is a longtime viewer and commenter. I don't know when this is from. I think it's like a week or two ago. When you first started vlogging, I regularly left comments, supportive comments. One day, you all mentioned you didn't really like those types of comments. I never posted just a post. I felt a connection to what you vlogged and wanted to share it. I also believe in building each other up. Yet my love language is words of affirmation. When you made that statement, I felt as if my comment didn't mean anything. So I stopped commenting. I want you to know my comments are heartfelt and not fluff. I agree with most things you post, and if I don't, I take the info and think on it. She says a bunch of other nice things, and she ends off by saying, please know I never make a comment just to make you feel good. I make them because I've been touched by something in the vlog. I do believe this is a ministry and support your family. You change people's lives. First of all, I want to say thank you, Lisa, for leaving this comment and all your comments. And especially these ones are kind of hard. I think it was a more personal statement for you, and I really appreciate the vulnerability you displayed by doing that. And I'm really sorry if we hurt you or sent like what I think was a miscommunication or a wrong message about what it is we feel towards you or those types of comments. But I actually think it ties into just where we're at with this larger thing. I've been in a lot of communities where I've heard this phrase. People are saying like, oh, you're doing God's work. You are changing people's lives and you are awesome. Sometimes those people like change their mind. Either because the person they were saying it about like had something really terrible happen or did something really terrible, or those people changed, or, I mean, I think about all the time, you guys could find something out about our lives right now, and overnight, what becomes this like really positive statement of like, you guys are good, or you guys are cool, or you guys are changing lives,
You're important.
can flip. And this is like the dualism, and I'm not saying you're doing this, Lisa, this is just kind of like sparking a lot of stuff we heard from our childhood, and our even like older years. Leia, stop it. So the problem that I've seen with these type of statements is whenever people are declaring people on the in, they're that close from being able to declare them on the out. Another way of looking at this from our perspective is if we turn to comments to decide if we're doing God's will, or if we're good people, or if we're changing people's lives, or if we're awesome, then like we're giving our power away, not just to good people like Lisa or good comments that are really encouraging, but to the bad people that say the things on the flip side. They're like, no, you're actually bad. I think you're destroying people. And we get those types of comments too. What we've had to learn to do is to almost separate ourselves from those type of statements. And even as people, I make less of those statements than I used to. Because with Lisa, I completely believe you and don't doubt your intentions at all. This isn't about that. And I don't think anything you did was wrong or bad, by the way. But I know for me, there was a lot of times where I said to people, hey, you're doing God's will, or you're really cool, or what you're doing is really awesome. My opinions about some of those people and some of those things have changed as I've changed. And I realized I was making these really kind of like authoritative statements. In a way, I was hiding behind this religious code instead of saying what I really also believed, which is like, hey, I like you. Or hey, I've been really motivated by you. Or hey, when you said that thing, it really changed the way I saw that. In other words, those are like personal me statements that are just my experience. I'm not saying this like absolute certainty, like you are good or you are doing God's will, as if I know that. You know, because for most of you out there, even most people in my life, I don't know. Like even the best people. You know, there was this megachurch pastor in Seattle that was like the fastest growing church in America, changing people's lives left and right. And then there's a sex scandal, and then a month later, like he's hated by everyone. It doesn't even exist anymore, the church. Like how often have we heard that story? But just like 6 months before, all these people are telling him how much he's doing God's will and how much he's changing people's lives, and like who was right? I think it's impossible to know. What could have worked is if some people said, hey, you're ruining my life, and other people might say, hey, you're changing my life. Like, that's a more nuanced approach. So usually what happens, like just to let you guys in I told you this is gonna be long-winded, but just to let you in our thinking process, when I read a comment like yours, Lisa, or anyone that says, you know, you guys are so great, I think you're an awesome YouTube channel. What I translate in my head is you saying, I like you. And I'm like, cool, thanks.
Or maybe even I've been impacted positively by you. But I think what's really helpful to us is to know specifics, whether it be negative or positive, of how we've impacted you.
And I've learned as a just on the other side of it, those are harder to share those things. It's personal, it's vulnerable. It says maybe I don't know the absolute truth, but to say, hey, when you leave this comment, it makes me feel good, so thank you for doing that. And that's just as important as my interpretation maybe of God's will, you know, and I didn't think that my preferences were important at one point. So I learned this whole code, and like I said, that's where this culture kind of comes in and what our baggage and experience is, where you say these certain things. It's almost like wrong to say, I want to go to California. You have to say like, oh, we think God is calling us to California. It's like, how do you know that? Because you like surfing? Like maybe you should say, I like surfing.
Or I want to make more money.
And those aren't bad things. Like, I don't think God is looking down on us and like frowning and be like, no, you must declare that you think this is my will. Like, what happens when it wrecks your family? And like, you know, was God wrong, or were you wrong about interpreting God's will?
And you're considered like more spiritual the more you say that kind of stuff, or the more you hear from God, or all that kind of stuff.
So all these comments, we kind of like, if you guys are saying you're awesome, first of all, we appreciate any comment and legitimate, honest interaction. I just want to say that.
Yeah.
But we do this little translation thing in our head just because of what we can handle and the baggage we've been through, where you say, you are a good person. I think, oh, you like me. I'm like, okay, I like it when people like me. That's actually fun. So I appreciate you sharing that. But what is the most helpful to us is when you share your stories about yourself. How has your life or day been changed by this vlog and us? And to me, that's not less spiritual. That's actually just like telling our part of the story. And I think God is honored when we are honest and good storytellers, because it's all His story. That's what I believe. Like when we live a good life, if I believe God created me and made me to like moving to California, or like cigars, or like Cami, whatever, if I tell that story well with this vlog, I think that's honoring to God. I don't think every time you'd be like, I think it was God's will for me to drink this beer, and God called me to smoke this cigar, which I actually think He did. Given the fact that Heather Q sent this package and we opened it in the nice weather right before today, those are all clues that clearly state that God wanted me to smoke a cigar right now.
Will.
This isn't about the comment section. This isn't about you, Lisa E. This isn't about just our counseling session. This is about one of the most life-changing things we've been through. And what we've noticed is, as we've left some of the cultural, spiritual lingo behind and just told our side of the story, it's more vulnerable, but it's more life-changing. And it's actually, I think, helped with our relationship to be like, I want sex with you right now. I want to have sex with you. that's like a scary thing to say, like, I think we should have sex. I mean, sometimes you don't have to say God. You just have to say, like, I think we should. It's like referring to this code outside of us somewhere in the ether. But just to say, I want this, or I like you, or I think you're beautiful, or you make me really happy, or you give me a boner. That's like harder. That's personal. Like, she can reject me when I do this. Damn, did we just really do that?
What do you mean?
I just feel like it was like really long-winded and we like not very organized, but it's all true stuff and it's been life-changing us. Have you guys experienced this? I would love to see the comment section explode. Or the new Facebook discussion group, which now has like 30 members or something, which is so cool. And there's already a discussion happening on dating. I'm like, that's incredible. That's so cool. And I don't have to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Like, you guys can just talk and get to know each other. And
So what are you asking them?
I want to know, as you reflect on this kind of like, we're tossing this idea out of there is a culture that's religious, and it isn't religion itself. It's not Jesus, it's not Christianity, or whatever religion you are, but it's something else. Are you hiding behind aspects of that? You know, another one, kind of our music teacher, he tosses out, we have this joke where he says, think about it, pray about it, get back to me. And it was like this like joke all the time, because you'd ask someone like, hey, do you want to go to Starbucks? He's like, oh, I need to pray about that. And it's like, okay, think about it, pray about it, get back to me. And
You
it's like,
really just either can't make a decision, don't want to say no.
so you have to say like, I'm going to pray about
Yeah.
it. And maybe you actually do, you know, I'm not
Maybe,
saying
yeah.
prayer is bad or wrong, but it's just like, why not just say, I don't know, I'm scared to make a decision.
Yeah.
I think God's okay with that. I always wanted to make a video about my friend Sonny. When he was applying for youth pastor jobs, he was using YouTube. This is like before anyone was. So he sent like all these churches out this video resume, and 8 churches got back to them and said, we think it's God's will that you're supposed to come work at our church.
Yeah.
God was either like really confused and miscommunicated something to 7 of them, possibly all 8 of them,
Yeah.
or people are using language in a really funny way that actually is probably destructive, because I think God's will is actually super important. So to toss around like, I want chocolate, or like, God's calling me to have chocolate, I think we should probably get that one right. I'm gonna get back to God's will with this cigar. I gotta show you guys what's going on for dinner though. 7, like out of nowhere, decided to make cheese fondue, and it's like the real kind. It has like white wine and garlic in it. And like homemade pretzels, all from scratch? How'd you get this idea?
Well, I did it before, but it didn't really turn out very well, so I thought I'd give it another shot. And then it turns out, my grandma has a fondue maker, so then I thought I would definitely do it.
Man, that looks incredible. I am very excited about this meal. Rainier, are you excited about dinner? And the weather is like so nice out here still, so we're eating outside. This might be the last time of the year, honestly. We keep on saying that, but I think this could actually be it. All right, we're signing off for the night. This is amazing meal. It's actually been an amazing afternoon, just being able to experience that with Cammie and share some of these thoughts with you guys. Really excited. Hope it's helpful for some of you. We'll see you guys tomorrow.